part 3 of our overview of meiosis and sexual reproduction. In part 1, we talked about how sexual reproduction lends itself to genetic recombination, genetic diversity in populations and in species, and we get to revisit that here. So, how do we maintain genetic diversity through sexual reproduction? Well, so glad you've asked. Well, there's actually 3 ways, and not covered in the order in which they occur. We can start with independent assortment of homologous chromosomes. Now remember, homologous chromosomes line up during metaphase 1 of meiosis. Now in this particular example, we've got a cell with 4 chromosomes arranged as 2 homologous pairs, a large pair and a small pair, so 2n equals 4. Now in metaphase 1, each pair assorts independently of other pairs. Now in this particular case, they can line up this way or this way, and the second pair can line up this way or that way. So in other words, the 2 blue ones can be on the same side or they could be on opposite sides. So these are the 2 ways that these 2 pairs of chromosomes can line up and independently assort. Now, if they line up this way, then you undergo meiosis 1 and meiosis 2 and we have this outcome. If they line up this way, we have this outcome. So let's look at the number of possible combinations in the gametes. Now, if they line up this way, we've got big blue, little blue, big blue, little blue, big red, little red, big red, little red. And if they line up this way, big blue, little red, big blue, little red, big red, little blue, big red, little blue. 4 possible combinations in this example. Now, there's a formula for this. Number of possible combinations in the gametes due to independent assortment alone is 2 to the n power, where n is the haploid number. Now in our example here, the haploid number is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. So 2 squared gives us 4 combinations. Now, what about us? Our haploid number is 23. So 2 to the 23rd power is 8,388,608. So what that means is, based on independent assortment alone, each human gamete produced by independent assortment, produced by meiosis, is 1 in over 8 million possible outcomes from one person. But wait, there's more. We have random fertilization. If each egg cell represents 2 to the n possible combinations and each sperm cell is 2 to the n possible combinations, then the number of possible outcomes in the fertilized egg, or the zygote, is 2 to the n times 2 to the n. And for humans, that number exceeds 70 trillion. So what that means is that if 2 people had 70 trillion children, 2 of them might be genetically identical. But that's not all. These numbers do not factor in crossing over. Crossing over occurs even before this happens. It occurs during prophase 1. Now, if you've only had 1 crossover, you've doubled all these numbers. And if the average number of crossovers per human homologous pair of chromosomes would be like 2 crossovers per pair, then we're looking at somewhere in the neighborhood of quadrillions. Somewhere like 3 quadrillion, something like that. So in other words, the odds of you being you are several quadrillion to 1 genetically, and that's just from your 2 parents. So kind of mind-boggling when you think about that. But this mechanism ensures that genetic diversity is maintained in populations and in species.